yeah, that was a complicated experience. I only had 3 days to prepare to become Elvis Presley.
Wow.
So what I did was I didn't think of Elvis Presley. I thought of a guy called Aaron who wanted to get rich, make money, and buy his alcoholic mama a house. Once I kept it at that level, then it was authentic.
How did you get this?
If you ask me, it looks like a 5-year-old could have done it. But I want a bigger cut because I found it, all right?
Tell me the truth, John. Those men were there for you.
You're gonna have to trust me. I got a plan.
It's time.
I'll give him a nice welcome.
Cool.
Can you hear me?
Yes. How's it going, Jonathan?
I'm all right, lad. How are you?
I'm doing well. Where are you at?
Spain.
Spain. Well, that's nice. Filming anything or just chilling?
I am house hunting.
Oh, how you want to move to Spain?
Well, I'm fucking homeless. Yeah, I need to buy a house.
What part of Spain? I mean, you have options there. I mean, were we talking Barcelona, Madrid?
No, I'm staying away from the major cities. I'm looking for something. I've been looking in Granada.
Okay.
Somewhere up in the mountains, somewhere an hour away from every other fucking person I can possibly meet.
I like that. Getting away from civilization, probably a good thing.
Well, it's funny, when Gandhi came to England in 1933, somebody asked him, Mr. Gandhi, what do you think of Western civilization? He said, I think it's a good idea.
Where were you living previously? You said you were kind of roaming around, but where was the last time you settled down somewhere?
In Los Angeles, California, where my wife and son live. They live in Malibu.
Well, that's a nice spot, but man, I can understand wanting to get the hell away from LA though.
Yeah, I mean, LA doesn't really bother me. LA is just like this big sprawling suburb of boarded up small businesses now because the corporations have come in and taken over. But you know, I lived when I lived in Malibu, I lived at the top of Saddle Peak, right up in the top of the mountain overlooking the sea. So it took me about 35 minutes to get to the nearest store or gas station or anything. So I did feel like I was out of LA, you know?
Well, yeah, in that case, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
There's Alessio. There you go. Looking sharp.
Hey, thank you.
Thanks for joining. And yeah, I'm glad to talk to you guys. I saw the film. Some of my favorites. I'm from Chicago, so Jeremy Piven is someone I've talked to before, and that's a Chicago guy. You know, that felt at home, Alessio, having him part of it.
Thank you. Thank you.
And of course, Emil Hirsch is one of also my favorites. So now the only one I haven't interviewed really from the movie is you guys. So this is kind of full circle for me. It's good to get everyone here. You know, I'm thinking, did you guys kind of plan this release with the Sopranos prequel that's coming out today too? I mean, 2 Mafia movies in a sense, 2 kind of action films coming out at the same time. It seems like a fan of that genre will have a good weekend.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, no, please go.
No, go ahead.
The Many Saints of Newark is more like your traditional mafia movie.
Yeah.
It's like a fucking bada boom, bada bing, forget about it. It was, you know, it's this fucking Tony Soprano who was all based on Jimmy Galante, who owned all that trash. He owned a trash disposal company in Danbury, Connecticut, and then he decided to buy his son, AJ. Funnily enough, the son in the fucking Sopranos is also called AJ.
True.
And he decided to buy him his own fucking UHL hockey team, who became the Trashers. They were the evil empire.
I did not know this.
Yeah, so if you go into Jimmy Galante's office, hold on, I'm sorry, I've got fucking someone trying to call me.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me? So yeah, if you go into Jimmy Galante's office, there's a big picture of the Sopranos, and it says to Jimmy Galante from James Gandolfini, to Jimmy Galante from Tony Soprano, James Gandolfini, to the real son Tony Soprano.
Wow, how about that? Did you know that, Alessio? I had no idea, and I've been a fan of this show and series and all that. Just got a lesson here.
No, I didn't know anything. But the way we worked on I guess where Johnny, what Johnny's point is, where he was going with that, is that there's classical mafia stories, you know, from classical history of novels and books and TV series and films about mafia. And then there's our take on mafia, which is very unique, very different from
It is.
classical stories, right? I think this is where Johnny was going, right?
Yes, it's it's as I said, crime, good crime, being a good criminal is a fucking art. You've got to be a genius to be a good criminal. Not only do you have to be tough, not only do you have to be wise, not only do you have to have the backing up of your guys, your consiglieri and your capitanos and your soldiers, but you've got to be super intelligent. You've got to be 10 steps a fucking head, because the cops can make 100,000 mistakes. You can only make one. So it's an art form in itself. You have to be Niccolo Machiavelli. You have to be Medici. At the same time, to the outside world, you have to be fucking St. Francis. So, how do you...
I like how you put that together. It makes sense to me. I like the art aspect of it too, because like, Alessio, you're Italian. Art is important in your culture. I mean, obviously, the mafia thing has been said and talked about, but I like how you combine the artistic element to this too, just with the action, obviously too. But there's like a softer spot in a sense in this shoot 'em up kind of movie with tough guys. There's that, everyone's the art is also very important.
That's very true. Huh? And there's different reasons. I had personal experiences when I was growing up. When I was 17, I was an assistant to a painter when he was doing frescoes in a church they had just built in Florence. So I think after spending several months, 30 meters high on the scaffoldings, doing the fresco, that got into me. And that's why John Kaplan works in the art board, Jonathan Rhys Meyers' character. That's why all the characters in the movie, in different ways, they express every single possible point of view that human beings have on art. And the reason why art is because when I was writing it, I thought art is, in a way, in reality, it's all we have left from mankind, from all the people that have ever lived. All we have is their buildings, which is architecture, their books, whichever way, shape, or form, their music, their sculptures, their paintings. So mankind's history is in art. So I thought about art as an invisible chain that connects us to mankind. And that's why there's creaming, there's all the aspects. There's people who thinks a kid could have done it. That's people who restore it. Vincent's character thinks that. Jeremy Piven's character, Vincent, thinks that. Paz Vega's character, she's an art restorer. So it's the people that save art and restore it. Jonathan Rhys Meyers' character, John Kaplan, he used to be a famous critic. He's a forger, and now he's opened up his own gallery. So all the characters work, and Michael Rubino, he collects art, and he wants to be an artist, despite his father, despite his family who wants him to work for the mafia. So all the characters work in art or have something to do with art or have an opinion about art, because it's about, I think, it's about humanity.
Well put. I wanted to ask you, I think I've seen one thing in this movie I've never seen before, an acrylic paint sex scene that was like very artistic, but something I just never seen before. I want to get both of your take. What was the thinking behind it? How did you come up with that? I thought it was really creative. And Jonathan, tell me your take, being right in the middle of it, literally.
Yeah. Well, first of all, sex scenes by themselves bore the shit out of people. Having sex can be fucking interesting if you're doing it with the right person. But watching sex is very boring. So what we had to do is we had to turn the sex into a form of art. The deeper the sex got, the more colors came. And then we chose specific colors. And, so what we're doing is trying to make it's sort of like a transcendental experience out of the sex that they're having. Yeah, I mean, it's incredibly beautiful to watch, especially when you see the hands with all the different colors of the hands, and then you
Yeah.
can see the many different aspects of who these people are. And Paz's beauty is extraordinary in that scene. She allows herself to give to it fully. And so, yeah, it was enjoyable. It was messy as fuck, but it's acrylic.
I'd imagine.
So it comes off. I mean, if Alessio said, "Yeah, I'm going to do this sexy, but I'm going to do it with fucking oil paints," we might have had a different conversation. But you know, because we were using acrylic, it came off pretty. No, it was difficult, but at the same time, it came off. But it ends up being more than a sex scene. It becomes a reflection of the world that's around us, the many bright colors that exist in life. Sometimes they're dark, sometimes they're light, but they all reflect one another. One would be nothing without the other.
Alessio, what's your take? How did Paz take to this? I mean, Jonathan just explained his reasoning and completely makes sense. Did you have to convince her of it, or was she on board with it too? Because she's covered literally too, almost head to toe with that paint. Both of you actually are. But what was your kind of pitch to her, or like how'd you describe it?
Well, my goal was to make a truly poetic moment. Very soft, very tender, very kind. Very poetic is the right word. And it's also it's so the character of John Calvin, after he's had a bad day, he falls asleep. He goes to a motel, he falls asleep with his clothes on, and then while he's sleeping, like sometimes we do, he remembers his past. So this is something that happened to him when they were younger and happier, you know, which is something everybody can relate to in a couple, in a moment when everything was better. And the whole movie being set in the art world, they were literally set in the art world. They were physically, literally immersed in colors. And It wasn't just for the sake of it, it was to create a physical connection with the paint. Obviously, we use specific water-based paints that were okay for the skin of the actors. But the point of the story of that scene was to create like the perfect, pure moment of happiness between the characters.
Interesting. Well, I thought it came out very, like I said, I've never seen anything like that with the colors like you guys described. It was just very unique scene. And I thought it was very artistic too, in a lot of ways. I just thought it was very cool what you guys accomplished there. So credit to you on that. John, I got to say something, man, I've been a long time fan of yours from Prozac Nation. I mean, Match
Which
Point.
I've never seen. I've never seen Prozac Nation.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's funny. Yeah, I remember Erik Thunberg was the director. He's from Tromsø, and I went to Tromsø to shoot The 12th Man.
Yes.
And I looked for Erik Skogberg when I was up there, who was actually the director, and I couldn't find him anywhere. So I managed to get a 20-minute version of the film Prozac Nation. But I really had a good time working with Christina Ricci. She was a lot of fun, and Michelle Williams, who is probably the most read actress in the world.
No question.
There's nothing that girl hasn't read. She's an animal for books.
One thing I had to say, I'm an Elvis fanatic, and there's no one that can do Elvis better than you. I've seen different things. I just thought you nailed him. Facials, look, everything like that. I mean, what was your kind of take back now looking back at that? Because I thought it was the best version of Elvis we've ever seen on screen. And I wish we saw you in another version, but in another film, whatnot. And I know they're coming out with a new one too. I don't know your thoughts on that one too, but what was that experience like for you?
Yeah, that was a complicated experience. I only had 3 days to prepare to become Elvis Presley.
Wow.
So what I did was I didn't think of Elvis Presley. I thought of a guy called Aaron, who wanted to get rich, make money, and buy his alcoholic mama a house. Once I kept it at that level, then it was authentic. Elvis Presley is for the rest of the world. To him, he's E. And even though sort of like he had those, you had to have the ego to go out and do that, he was still just a poor boy from Tupelo, Mississippi, who wanted to get as far away from the bullshit that he was brought up with, the sharecropping environment. And he wanted his mama safe in a big palatial house like the old plantation houses of the South. And so once I kept it at that level, then it was doable. As soon as you start thinking you're fucking Elvis Presley, it's too huge.
Yeah,
he changed rock and roll forever. He is an American fucking icon. He's as American as fucking Coca-Cola, hamburgers, milkshakes, and the fucking flag. So so I had to keep it. I had to keep it real simple, instead of And also, even though I think Elvis is a great artist, I wasn't a fan. So I could be objective about it. I wasn't fucking, I had no Elvis adoration or anything like that, which means that I could show the bad and the good parts of him with sort of equal fervor, because I didn't have to sort of like complicate my own sort of, teenage girlish fantasies about Elvis Presley. I just didn't.
Fantastic. You're going to check out the new movie when it comes out next year, or?
Well, the new movie that's been brought out by Baz Luhrmann is actually not about Elvis. It's about Colonel Parker.
Mm-hmm.
Who was a ferocious, degenerate fucking gambler. And so it's going to be kind of interesting. It's funny enough, when Elvis died, I think the Colonel had between 500 million and almost, he had at least half a yard, right? Just a nugget over half a yard. When he died, he had $900,000. Because he just fucking gambled a whole lot. But he was a degenerate gambler. He never fucking won. He didn't know what to do with the fucking cards or anything like that. But Elvis would be on stage doing his kung fu karate thing in fucking in a one-piece suit. And the Colonel would be sort of like 2 rooms over on the fucking roulette table or blackjack or whatever the fuck he was doing, spending the money. So it's a more interesting thing, it's not that the Colonel, obviously the Colonel was sort of like a nefarious character, but the Colonel didn't lie to Elvis. Elvis said to the Colonel, I want to be a millionaire. I want you to make me $1 million. He said, I'll make you $1 million. And he did.
Unbelievable. I mean, you're an encyclopedia for knowledge here. So many things I learned about Sopranos and Elvis too that I didn't know. Before I let you guys go, this is my Bumble like dating profile pic. Like, this is a Elvis wax statue, and I tried to put my image next to it. I don't know if I should put this down or keep it up. What do you guys think? I could score a date, maybe.
I think you got.
Perfect. That's what I was hoping to hear from a guy that played Elvis. So guys, this has been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was really unique and interesting take, and everything you want: action, sex, art, everything you would want to see in a fun kind of action flick thriller. So you guys did a heck of a job. I hope you guys reteam again.
Thank you so much.
We might do, but who knows what the future holds. But I had a lot of fun working with Alessio. I trusted him. He trusted me, and we mistrusted everybody else.
And it came out pretty well. So you guys did a hell of a job.
Well, fucking Emil did something extraordinary. He had. You see, the thing is, the character who was playing Michael, which has a certain element of Tony Montana, a certain element of Michael Corleone, but what he wants is his ego is so enormous that he doesn't want El Cosa Nostra, which is this thing of ours. He wants this thing of mine. El Cosa Mio. Basta. The only one. So my favorite scene is when Shaky gives him the sports bag, and he has a cigarette in his mouth, and he opens the sports bag, and he just starts laughing, his maniacal laugh. He's like, it's just, it was something extraordinary. You probably won't see it again, but it was so authentic to Emil, because if you ever meet Emil, he is just the most gentle, erudite, quiet guy, but he allowed himself to go to places that he normally wouldn't go to, and I think he enjoyed it immensely.
Well, you got some real actors in there, Alessio, so you let them play, and they did, certainly on screen. But awesome job. I hope people check this out. And Jonathan, it's been a long journey for me to get to talk to you. I've been a lifelong fan, so this has been a real treat.
Thank you very much, brother.
Hope to catch up with you guys down the road on the next one.
God willing.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.